Boomer Sooner begins life in the SEC this fall, and these are my best and worst case scenarios for Oklahoma football in 2024. Hello, everyone. I'm Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. The following is brought to you by our friends over at MYBOOKIE. Guys, head over to MYBOOKIE.ag, and when you sign up, use the promo code SECU to get a 100% deposit match of up to $1,000. Guys, just because we've hit a sort of lull, if you will, when it comes to college sports outside of college baseball, it does not mean there's not a ton to bet on and a ton of value and tons of things to make money on, whether it's the NBA playoffs, it's MLB. You want to throw some bets on the College World Series. They do have college baseball, by the way. You want to throw some futures out there, right? Whether it's win totals or props or whatever it might be, MYBOOKIE is the place to go. Also, guys, they have a casino. So if you like playing cards, you like playing blackjack, you like playing poker, you like playing slots, casino games, whatever it might be, it's a lot of fun and a great way to make money, guys. Again, that's our friends over at MYBOOKIE. MYBOOKIE.ag, guys. Hey, the payout is super easy. The book is super fun to use. I could not recommend them more. Again, that's MYBOOKIE.ag. Sign up today. Use that promo code SECU at checkout, at sign up, I should say, to get a 100% deposit match of up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, and anywhere only with our friends at MYBOOKIE. The Oklahoma Sooners begin life in the SEC this season, and these are my best and worst case scenarios for Boomer Sooner in the 2024 college football season. And guys, let me preface by saying this. Number one, these are not predictions. These are simply best and worst case scenarios. This is how I view the ceiling and the floor of the football team. Also, it's not as simple as best case, worst case, best case 12-0, worst case 0-12. These are realistic best case and worst case. Every single football team has question marks. Best case is assuming that the majority of those questions work out in the positive. Worst case is assuming the majority of those questions work out in the negative. So, without further ado, guys, let's pull up Oklahoma's schedule here, and we'll talk best case and worst case scenarios. Now, when you talk about Oklahoma's first SEC season, Greg Sankey and company did Boomer Sooner no favors, because this is one of the most difficult schedules in the SEC, right? You open up with Temple, no big deal. You even look at the non-conference. Like Houston and Tulane, those are not layups. You can lose either one of those games. Granted, they are at home. And listen, I know Oklahoma fans tuned in. Y'all are sick and tired of people telling you how difficult the schedule is and how much OU is going to struggle. But you have to acknowledge how difficult the schedule is. You just have to. Houston and Tulane in the non-conference, right? It's like if you start 3-0, you've started well and you're playing pretty damn good football, I would say. You've got your SEC opener. The Tennessee Volunteers come to town. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Josh Heupel, of course, was an Oklahoma quarterback. That connection going to make for a lot of fun storylines. You begin life on the road in the SEC at Auburn. And guys, Jordan-Hare Stadium is a wild place, okay? It is like an Indian burial graveyard. I mean, there's voodoo in that place. It is wild, right? You guys have probably seen it before. Then you got that annual rivalry showdown with Texas. You've got South Carolina at home. You got to go to Ole Miss. Hey, they throw Maine in there for you. There's a nice kick in. But you got to go to Ole Miss. You got to go to Missouri. Then you got Bama. Then you got to go to LSU. Guys, you close out with at Ole Miss, at Mizzou, Bama, and at LSU. Your final, 4 SEC games. I mean, that is as much a murderer's row as anybody in the conference has. But let's start with best case scenario. Best case scenario for Oklahoma. Listen, this schedule's a gauntlet, and Oklahoma has real questions. Jackson Arnold, what is he going to be week in, week out as a starting quarterback for the Sooners? I know they believe in him, and heck, I believe in him too. I think the talent is supreme. This kid can make every single throw. He can do everything you need him to do, right? But are there going to be first-year growing pains? Even in a best-case scenario world, is he going to be perfect? Probably not. The offensive line, that's where the big question mark arises, okay? That's where the big question mark comes up. What's the offensive line going to look like? You're only as good as your line of scrimmage play in this conference, right? The good news is Oklahoma traditionally very good on the offensive line. It's weird how much of a question mark this is. If the offensive line works out, Jackson Arnold at quarterback, the offense should be fine defensively. Let's say the pass rush steps up. You get the most out of them. Brent Venables' defense, it looks like a Brent Venables defense. Zach Alley is a positive addition, right? All that being said, I go back to this schedule is so freaking difficult, guys. And I think the thing that Oklahoma and Texas fans are going to find out quickly, not just how tough life in the SEC is, how tough life on the road in the SEC is, right? It's not just about that it's hard. It's hard to go into these environments and win. At Auburn, at Ole Miss, at Mizzou, at LSU. We have not even mentioned Bama. We have not even mentioned the Texas game. We have not even mentioned Tennessee. My best case scenario for Oklahoma in 2024, I've got 8-4 for the Sooners. And I know there's going to be a lot of pushback. I've already seen it on social media. I am one of those folks. I'm not going to sit here and say that Oklahoma is going to get beat up or that it's going to be a tough year, but I think there's going to be some growing pains. I do not see, guys, Oklahoma jumping into this league and winning double-digit games. I just don't. Not with questions at quarterback and not with questions at the line of scrimmage. That being said, 8-4 with this schedule would be a really, really good season, and I do think it's the best case scenario for OU. Let's talk worst case scenario. This is where Boomer Sooner fans are going to get really upset with me. But of Oklahoma and Texas, if there's one of those two that is going to really, really feel the effects of coming into a new conference, coming into the SEC, I do think it's Oklahoma. Now, again, this is not a prediction. This is worst case scenario. So Jackson Arnold's not up to snuff. The offensive line's no good. Defensively, you can't generate a pass rush. The defense reverts back to what it was in 2022. Okay? So the likelihood that all that happens and that this worst case scenario happens is unlikely, but I think it is possible. Now, this worst case scenario is probably assuming you lose a non-conference game, either to Houston or Tulane. And guys, we can't rule that out. Like, those are two difficult games, okay? Tennessee in the SEC opener, again, you got that road schedule. You got Bama, you got LSU, you got Mizzou, you got Ole Miss, you got Texas, you got Tennessee, you got Auburn on the road. 5-7. My worst case scenario. Again, not a prediction, but it is my worst case scenario. And Oklahoma fans are going to find out, and everybody else knows this, things can snowball and they can go sideways in a hurry. Momentum's a fickle mistress, both positive and negative. That thing can go sideways and snowball on you quickly if you're not careful, right? Because, hey, you're like, whoo, that game at Mizzou was tough. What do we have next week? Oh, we got to play Alabama. Woo, that game against Alabama was tough. What do we got next week? Oh, we got to go to LSU. There's no off weeks. There's no such thing as an off week in the SEC, and I think OU could feel the effects of that. Again, is it likely to go 5-7? No. Is it possible? I think so. So, when you talk Oklahoma football, first year in the SEC, and you look at the schedule, again, my best case for Oklahoma, I've got 8-4. Worst case, I've got 5-7. What's your ceiling and floor for Brent Venables' program in the 2024 college football season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily: iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.